Hey everybody, today we're going to be taking a look at the second part of our cutscene Castle Magic project. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at a more complex version of a cutscene that uses a bunch of timers, obviously reflectors, but more than just, one or two like last time. We're going to be using, I think about four this time. Um, and yeah, so Uh, let's go ahead and take a look at what the kind of cutscene we're going to be making today is. So we've got our field guard, and oh no, oh, he cast Earthquake and fell over the tree. So that's kind of what we're going to be taking a look at. This is what it looks like under the hood, right? So we got a couple magic timers, some reflectors, a start detector, all this good stuff. It's gonna look a little complicated, but I promise whenever all is said and done, it's gonna be totally okay. It's gonna be pretty easy for y'all to follow. So I've kind of marked out the three big locations for this project already. So let's go ahead and go over our shopping list. So the main, like the big items we're gonna need, we are gonna need one carnivorous tree. Okay, looks like this. It's a big old tree. It's a big boy. The second thing we're gonna need is a felled birch. I think there's another version of this that's smaller. You do want the felled birch tree. Okay. You're going to need a mob or a pet of your choosing. You're going to need one breadcrumb, a button, one start detector, two timers, four magical reflectors, a crate. It'll look like this. The only crate that doesn't work for this is the what's it called? The crate of chickens that you get from like the Malister fight. It does not work with this. Um, and the last thing you're gonna need is the blue trimmed rug. Okay, so that's all your big items. For your spells, you're gonna want four activate reflectors, two start timers, three make invisible, two make visible, two pan left, one pan right, two close-ups, one earthquake, and one gobbler laugh. Okay, so that is the shopping portion of this. Um, so without further ado, let's get this set up. So the first thing I want to do is I want to put down a breadcrumb, and I'm going to put it here. Okay, you want to make sure it's facing this direction for this project. We are going to put our field guard down. Doesn't super matter where we place him, but I would like to keep him near this, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to assign him. So when we start up, he's just going to walk straight there. And he's going to stay there. He's not going to move after that. So that is that one. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put down our conifer tree. Okay. I'm going to put that down there. I am going to move this just a little bit so that they line up a little better. Is that where I want this? No, I do want it a little more over. Okay, I think right there is fine. Perfectly okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to rug bug this felled birch tree into basically the same position as our carnivorous tree. And this can be achieved by taking that blue trimmed rug that we had, and without placing it down, we're just going to start twisting around the red areas of this tree until it starts moving like this, right? Okay, so we are going to move this into place. Right there, I think, is probably the best place we're going to get it. Okay, so place that down. And then we're going to press move. Don't move your mouse, but click until you hear that placement noise again. Okay, and that locks it in place. If you don't do that, whenever you come back into your house, it's not going to be there. It's going to be where you last had it. before you moved it with the blue trim rug. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to put down this box, and I've already marked the location I want this, right? This tree, by the way, is about 11 units, and that's, if we have this reflector out, it's 11 in this direction, right? Where we're going to be placing this reflector is going to be 4 over and 10 back, okay? So when we've got it here, you're going to put the corner of your box down where this needs to go, and then you're going to put your magic reflector on top of that, rotate it so that it's back facing towards us, okay? And whenever that's done, you can take your rug again and do the movement thing, okay? And then just pick everything back up, and this will be stuck in place. I don't think you need to do that. I don't think you need to do that, but I always do it just in case. You know, you always want to be cautious, basically. So the next one we want to do is our second reflector, right? So this is going to be 8 over because we want that smooth camera angle. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and that is in position. And we'll do the same thing with this reflector. You put it on the corner, rotate it till it's right where it needs to be, and then rotate until we get our box out of the way. Okay, so these are your two big reflectors. These are the ones that absolutely need to be here and here for this cutscene to work. The next one we want to do are the two lesser reflectors, right? So we're just going to put that down there, and we're going to put down our other reflector near our start detector that I just put down, right? These two you probably want to keep together. This one can be kind of wherever, but I would like to keep it kind of close to everything so we have a nice neat section. Okay, so the next part, I'm just going to put down our timers. I want these to be near everything, but it doesn't super matter exactly where they are. But you do, again, want to just keep everything looking nice and neat. And then the last thing we're going to put down is a button wherever we feel like it, basically. So I'm going to put it back here so it doesn't get in the way of our cutscene. And that is all of the physical things we're going to need to put down. Okay, so let's get started on the spells. The first thing we want to do is go into our start detector, and we're going to have it activate this reflector that we put next to it. Okay, so in this reflector, we're going to go into action spells, and we're going to make this felled birch tree, and we're going to make our field guard invisible. So again, what this does is whenever we start up the area, both of those are going to go invisible so that we're just left with the tree like we are back over there. Okay, for the next part, and this is where things are going to get a little more complicated, we're going to go in and activate this reflector. Okay, and in this one, this is going to be our big one. Okay, so in our utility spells, we are going to pan right across this breadcrumb. Now, what this does is this gives us a very close camera angle because it's a small item. It gives us a very close camera angle that goes right this way, right? So it'll come out here, just where this field guard's feet are, right? So it should look like this whenever we're finished with it. Boom. Okay, so that's pretty low to the ground as you saw. That'll be about where his feet are going to show up. So after that, we are going to make our field guard visible, and we're also going to play a gobbler laugh sound wherever our activator is. So I'm going to put it on this button so that we can actually hear what's going on, right? Okay, so that all together does this. There we go. So that's the first part of that. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to get 2 close-ups on our reflector. Okay, so that is here. We're going to have it on this one. We're going to do that twice. So this basically just extends the time that you're seeing a close-up. Because camera angles are pretty short a lot of the time, unfortunately. And you can't really change how long they're there for. So let's play that. So we get on the feet, and then we get a close-up twice. Perfect. Okay. So that's the big part of this reflector. The last thing we want to do here is we want to put a start timer spell, and we're going to tell this timer to start. Now, what I've done is I've tinkered around with this a lot to where I have it just right so everything goes correctly for us. So on the on timer duration, I'm going to change that to 4. And for the off timer duration, I'm changing that to 6. Now, obviously, I've done this before, so I know kind of what I want to happen and when. But this will be different for every cutscene that you do. And you're going to have to tinker around a lot with this. It's going to take a lot of patience, a lot of fiddling. But when you get it, it's a very rewarding feeling. Okay, so what I did is I told it whenever our on timer ends, we're going to activate this reflector here. Okay, and whenever it deactivates, like when the off timer portion ends, it's going to activate this one that we put down. And we want to make sure this doesn't start on and it doesn't repeat. Okay, so for this one over here, we are going to have the where is it? The earthquake spell start up on this breadcrumb. Now I'm choosing the breadcrumb because this breadcrumb will always be here. It will always be facing the direction we want. And the pet, sometimes, not very usually, but I have seen it happen, could glitch out, right? But this guarantees that it won't ever do that. So we're going to do that one. And then we are going to put a pan left on this and a pan left on this reflector. Okay, so what that's going to do is it's going to pan this direction because we've got both of our reflectors facing backwards at the same angle. And it's going to be a nice smooth camera transition that looks a bit like this. So we got the right down across the feet. We got close up 1, close up 2, and then a pan and a pan. Perfect, perfect. This is looking really good. Okay, so that is our first reflector, and now we got to deal with this reflector that starts whenever our timer finishes. So what this is going to do is going to make the carnivorous tree invisible, and then it's going to start our second timer. Okay, so in this last timer, this is the last thing we have to do. We're going to change this to a duration of 1 second whenever it's on. And then we are going to make our felled birch tree visible. Okay, so let's go back over what this does. So on start, we make our field guard and we make our birch tree invisible. Okay, and then whenever we activate, when we use an activator of any kind, right? We tell this reflector to start. And this reflector is going to give us a pan to the right over this, and then it's going to give us 2 close-ups of this. What it's also going to do is play a gobbler laugh, make our field guard visible, and start this timer. Now when this timer's on duration ends, right, so after 4 seconds, it will activate this reflector. Okay, and this reflector tells us, or tells there to be a earthquake spell that goes off here, and then it tells us to pan left once, pan left twice. Okay, And while that's going on, the off duration is probably started at this point. So whenever the off duration on this magic timer ends, we activate this reflector. And this reflector makes our coniferous tree invisible, right? And this is timed so that it's basically by the end of the earthquake spell. Whenever it hits this, it'll make this invisible, and then it will also start this timer. And this timer, after a 1 second duration, will make this felled birch tree visible again. Okay, so I know that can be a lot, but this is our finished product. So we pan, get close up 1 and 2, the earthquake starts, then we hit the tree, and it falls over. So that is everything, really. That is the basically the end of this tutorial. I hoped this helped. This is something that you can implement if you put in a lot more timers. You can obviously make longer cutscenes, and stuff happen at different intervals in those cutscenes. Feel free to ask me about any questions you guys have in the comments. Would really appreciate a like and a subscription, or subscription, a like and sub would be pretty cool, y'all. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, concerns, comments, go ahead and post them below. I'll get to them as soon as I can. And yeah, I'm sorry about the whole not putting a video up for a while, but a lot of good things happened recently in my personal life, and I was trying to deal with all that. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.